is. I love the way Zoom menus work. They hide stuff from you. Well, welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Jeffrey Hotchkiss, and I'll be your host today. I want to talk about Reiki and community, primarily in southern Maine, but this applies to anybody coming in from elsewhere in the country. And we're going to talk about what we've done in the past with this collaborative Reiki group and what our plans for the future are. And so, just to kind of set the tone for it, this is one among many versions of the Reiki precepts or principles. Most of you will recognize them. I'm not going to go through them all. I am going to zero in on the fourth one because it's going to be a recurring theme and a main part of our call to action, and that's the practice diligently. So just want to spend a little time telling my Reiki story, not too much. I learned Reiki in the beginning of 2001, which was very timely because that was the year that we had lots of worldwide challenges and I had lots of personal challenges. So I caught fire with it right away. I had a tremendous experience after my first attunement, and then gradually over the next couple of years started learning how to allow more space within my mind and my body for Reiki practice. I became I was attuned as a Reiki master teacher in 2003. Then before I even started getting it together to teach, I found myself joining a group in New York City that was doing 2 days of Reiki in the parks of Lower Manhattan on September 9th and 10th every year as a healing response to the horrific trauma of 9/11. And so it was 2 full days, and there were, I guess maybe 30 of us practitioners, mostly Reiki, maybe a few other modalities such as craniosacral and Jill Ray. And we would see somewhere between 500 and 600 people over those 2 days. And just imagine if you've ever been to Washington Square Park and know the scene there. We would set up our massage tables at the south end. And it was just a beautiful experience and very intense training for doing hands-on Reiki and taking care of myself. So I really owe my early awareness around what we could do with Reiki to this project. And it ended in 2011, and lots of people moved on, but it's a cherished memory in my heart. Then in 2005, my continued healing process triggered a deep memory of early childhood trauma that I grappled with and spent the next so many years healing from. And this was a demonstration that, to me especially, that healing is not all necessarily sweetness and light, is that you have to sometimes face unpleasant, uncomfortable, and sometimes even terrifying truths to work through and find your own calm, and balance. In the middle of that process, I started a project that I called Elders Bloom, introducing Reiki practice to elder communities, whether independent living, assisted living, long-term care, and really learned what are the elements of speaking to groups, especially groups where a lot of the people couldn't hear you very well and had varying levels of disabilities. And that was a joyful project. I was given a nonprofit sponsorship to work on it for a while before that finally went away in the early 2010s. Toward the end of the 2000s, I then transitioned into discovering memories or awareness of ancestral traumas that had to do with people in other countries and indigenous people here on this continent, where some of my forebears had been a part of inflicted terrible traumas on them. So that led me to something. Actually, I'll pick that up later, but it created an awareness with me that healing was not just an individual activity or an enterprise. And in the early 2010s, I was invited to start a Reiki clinic at Integrate Health in Falmouth by Dr. Dustin Sulak, who you see here relaxing in a recliner with a sort of a photo shoot we did for for a media event that he coordinated. We found at this clinic, to really make this clinic go, I reached out to my network and invited practitioners from all over southern Maine to participate, many of whom are here today and who I want to give a shout out to and honor. And you can see some of them in these pictures: Michelle Jackson, Kim Sweat, Tammy Riley, who's not here, Chris Chapman, who is here, and a number of others. Let's see, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I also want to honor some of their teachers, such as, Mary Jo. Hey, Mary Jo. Such as Patricia Keene and Mary Dunham. And Martha, I don't know if any of your students early participated, but I think there may be definitely lineages there because you've been so long a teacher in Maine. So this picture on the right was, actually, let me start on the left. We took, we did very brief evaluation forms for patients of Dr. Sulak who tried Reiki, and asked them to describe how they felt before and then how they felt after. And then I made word clouds of these, and you can see all the words that show up in the before group, and then the words that show up in the after group. You can see even I like that pain still shows up in the after group, so it's not, Reiki isn't necessarily a magic wand, but you see that it's a much bigger word in the before group. Then Integrate Health had access to publicity because they were really aggressively promoting their services. So their publicity consultant managed to get us a evening news spot with then Channel 8 anchor Tracy Sable, and that's her with a red blazer on, and her camera person Diana on the left. And the interviewee, Jill Mariner, who's now married, was a wonderful interviewee. So we did this from 2013 through about 2018, when it started to slow down for various reasons. And it was really a good training ground, a good experience for all of us. First, we could see that 20-minute treatments were very effective for people, that they could get significant benefit out of them. In fact, we tracked before and after pain evaluations and saw significant reduction in pain and also anxiety. We also learned that these so-called zero-gravity recliners were wonderful chairs to do Reiki in, because people could sit up or recline to any level, and in full reclining would take all the pressure off their lower backs, which is often a source of pain and tension and anxiety. So based on the success and the confidence building of that, we branched out, and the first thing that happened was Tammy and Mary Jo went to the Portland Recovery Community Center, which at that time was on Forest Avenue, and proposed that they do Reiki there for their for the people in recovery that would come there. And that was almost immediately successful, because it turns out when you're in the transition between detox and long-term recovery, no matter what the substance is, that a very gentle touch healing that helps you with calm and balance is a really timely intervention. So we got up to the point we had 3, maybe 4 afternoons a week that we were offering Reiki there with a number of our different practitioner members. From there, we got a referral to Milestone Recovery, and I did several months of 1 day a week before the pandemic closed their operations. And then also reached out to the Park Danforth, which is an elder independent living, assisted living facility in Portland, and started doing a regular Reiki clinic there. At the same time, Kim Sweat was volunteering at the Animal Refuge League of Greater Portland and doing Reiki for the animals there. And this would be a good time for me to give a shout out to the Shelter Animal Reiki Association. They're centered in southern New Hampshire and southern Maine, and they focus on doing Reiki for animals in shelters. So I'm going to pause here for, whoops, hang on. I'm going to pause here for a second and go back to, I'm just going to take a look at how everybody's doing. Take a look at the time. That's about right. That's about 20 minutes. And I see that you're all still with me. That's awesome. So we were starting to grow, and we were having fun, and we were even now and again getting paid for our work. Not enough to make even a substantial part-time income, but enough for fun money now and again. So we were starting to build a concept of how this could be an actual business. At the same time, we started getting favorable press. So the first thing that happened, even before this evening news, was Pamela Miles, who's a very famous Reiki master from New York City, reached out to me and asked me if she had heard I was doing this Reiki clinic, and she's always trying to promote successful public outreach of Reiki practice, especially in medical settings. So she had me write a guest blog for her, which was a fascinating and rigorous process. And shortly, I think it was just a few months after the guest blog, and so that the guest blog was a pretty wide audience. She has, I think she's into the hundreds of thousands of followers on Facebook and for her website. Then she very graciously shared the evening news spot that we did, and that was very exciting because I watched it on Facebook go viral around the world. I saw excited comments in 5 different languages about the fact that, about the fact that a Reiki clinic had gotten itself onto the evening news. That was kind of a high point for us. Then a local news person, Diane Atwood, who had done the health section of Channel 6 Evening News for a long time. Then in retirement, she started this blog called Catching Health, which I highly recommend. And then Ilma and Mary Jo and I met with her and gave her a Reiki session and gave her an interview. And so that post is still out there. In a minute, I'll post all the links for these. Or actually, yeah, as soon as I can figure out how to get it into the chat. Then I wrote this summary of all our work for the past 5 years and published it as a booklet. And I'm hoping to update it this fall and publish it again. So let me see if I can put those links in the chat. Hang on a second. Bear with me. Here's the chat. Awesome. Okay. So I'm just going to pause and put the links for all those media opportunities in the chat. If I can get to the I have to X out of the presentation for a little bit. All right. This is also on our website. I just wanted to have that be accessible and in the recording. All right, so back to the presentation. And see if that works. All right, so Michelle or Kim, or if you want to unmute yourself and just let me know if you can still see the slides.
It's all good.
Thank you. All right, so we were cruising right along and having a great time. Then I moved from one place to another in Portland and kind of slowed down a little bit. So I was having to do more on my day job. And then in March of 2020, everything shut down just like that. the recovery center, the elder facility, milestone, and even the doctor's office. So this gave me some time to figure out that I could retire from my paycheck job, and then do a lot of introspection, resting up. I did some online volunteering with a indigenous-led nonprofit group that I had joined in 2015, and which I'm still very much involved with. I paid attention to the media and social media about what was going on with COVID and got a pretty good sense of what was needed for safe practice. And I did some Zoom self-treatment offerings, and then but then was able to determine earlier this year that I was able to return to practice. Okay, so I've given myself about 10 more minutes, so I'm going to hustle through the rest of them. So it felt like, and I know a lot of you feel the same way, that even though COVID hasn't gone away, and Lord knows there's other issues on the horizon, it's still good to reconnect with communities. And I think it's almost, to me, it feels mandatory given the challenges that are facing our communities. So we just need to be smarter and safer about how we do that. So, just as an exercise, anybody who wants to put in the chat, I have 3 questions for you, and I'll start with this one. And I'll just give you a couple of minutes to type stuff in, any thoughts that you might have. General or specific, about in this moment, where can Reiki help?
Jeffrey,
Yes, go ahead.
are we to type the answer in or speak?
Oh, you can't type it. I'm sorry, Mary Jo. Go ahead and say what you say, anything that you like.
Well, I think one of the places that it would be extremely helpful is in schools.
Very good. And I know you're doing evening classes still up in the local high school. So that's excellent.
Thank you.
And Mary Jo, if feel free to catch me afterwards. I know you're the only one who's on your phone, so you can write it down and text it to me or talk to me after.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. That sounds good. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. And hello to everyone. Nice meeting the folks I haven't met and hope to meet them in person sometime. But it's nice to see the colleagues that I met through the Kim and Michelle. So, and it's been a long time.
It
So,
has.
all right, I'm gonna, yeah, no kidding.
Right. Next question. Second of 3. Oh, come on. Don't spend a whole lot of time on this. You could actually just go within for the answer. You don't necessarily need words. How are we doing? And then, so I thank you for anything you put in the chat, because when I save the recording, the chat will get saved along with it. That'll become a resource for others. Then finally, this is a key question and one that always popped up for me in our previous time with Reiki Community Health and Wellbeing, because we're all human beings trying to share Reiki with people in need. But of course, we all had our own needs, right? So we had to recognize amongst ourselves that things come up. A little more about that later. So please feel free to continue sharing anything you want on those 3 questions. And I'm just going to let you browse through. We had done a whole workshop together where we selected the name, and I've made several attempts to dig out my notes from that workshop, and there's some flip charts somewhere and that has more detail about how we came up with each piece of the names. This is what I remember. And then this is what I came up with on my own, just as kind of a cute mnemonic in the past few months. So these are the things that are guiding me as values as we go forward. All right. So in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give you just a quick rundown of the future vision as it stands right now and some of the things that have been happening. So first, in my mind, partly because a lot of it has to do with my work in service of Indigenous people the past 8 years, but also just my awareness that there are more communities than the mainstream, and we want to make sure we structure our activities in a way that does not unwittingly exclude anybody who could benefit. Okay. And I think you know all of these labels. By New Mainers, I mean that's a name that people use here for people who migrate from other countries to Maine. And here's some thoughts which you'll be able to contemplate a little bit more later on about what's in my intention about how to do this. So I've learned a lot in my own journey of accountability, specifically to Indigenous people, 2 different major tribal nations, that perspectives that I've shared in workshops in the past. Just have to be aware that just because we do Reiki doesn't mean that everybody thinks we're that's a good thing. All right? And there are ways to address that and to avoid the worst pitfalls, if I can say that word. I have identified some candidate trainings for a variety of those for that to help us create that awareness, and that'll be part of our offerings and part of our membership criteria going forward. Then one of the things that I've found, that we've all together found, that my perspective, and I hope it's shared, is that doing this work together has really given us, strengthened our professional um, presentation to the communities. So by our focus on basic practice in these locations, just a very simple um, uh, hands-on um, touch without a lot of explanation, because you don't have time to explain everything that you believe about Reiki in 15 or 20 minutes. Um, and So I think that this can be a major benefit of practice with Reiki Community Health and Wellbeing going forward, so that it will strengthen our abilities to be present in private practice. And please, those of you who have perspective on this, for this slide and really any others, feel free to put your comments in the chat. There's two key points here. One is the self-care and self-healing. You can't undertake this work of reaching out to the communities, especially very vulnerable people, such like they have in the recovery community, without really redoubling, focusing on your efforts in self-care and self-healing. Otherwise, you'll just burn out unless you have that. Then very important to respect the gatekeepers, and those are the people that are responsible for the people that you are doing Reiki for in those communities. Okay, and each community has different criteria for respectful behavior within that setting. Communication, always a challenge. Pamela Miles has a lot to say about that and has some excellent classes. And I have some ideas for trainings around that. Now, here's some of the things that I'll be working on operationally to get ready, to get our enterprise ready to be able to do all these things. So with COVID safety, we'll have protocols. I'm also already have equipment and masking, and I have sort of homemade HEPA filtering. You can do that for $50 with a box fan and a furnace filter. And if there's going to be something that passes through contact on surfaces, we'll have to think about how we take care of people in our reclining chairs. Right now I've restarted volunteering at the Recovery Center in Portland, which has a new building, much bigger and beautiful place. So I'm doing one afternoon a week there, and it's been booked up for weeks now. Once people got used to the timing, I'm usually fully booked every Friday. I've already had 2 inquiries from prior and possible future locations. Hope to be able to share more about that later. I'm involved in a year-long training course to learn how to do-it-yourself publicity, and that's that's a lot of course material coming at me and a lot of exercises, and, but I think it will help us present ourselves into the mainstream. I was awarded a micro enterprise grant by the city of Portland this spring to help with startup activities this year. And that's enough just to get things started, maybe upgrade the website, and connect with legal advice and accounting advice, and buy some equipment. So I'm going to apply for another one, by mid-August, to see what I can get for next year. There's grant opportunities that have come out with the pandemic that weren't there before. We're not a nonprofit, but nevertheless, some of these small block grants are still available. Legal, insurance, accounting, usual back office stuff, website. I have a really good website designer who's will be working with this fall. And I want to create a stronger balance that we have a process for earning income doing Reiki as well as the volunteering. Both of these are valuable. And Mary Jo contributed the keyword concept of pay it forward. And that echoes with me because the most successful I've been at the past of doing paid professional work is when somebody wanted to gift Reiki treatment to a friend or family. And I think there's a way to do it, and to make it easy, design it in the website, but we'll need to have some more discussions and brainstorming around it. So the summary is, so that's the sketch outlook of the vision. I'm going to be very busy this fall because my first grant, I have to spend it all by December 31st. So things will be getting busier. And I'll be creating more events that people can participate in. So for calls to action, the very first thing for everybody, whether you're going to think about joining up with us in the future or doing your own work with Reiki in your communities, is you really want to redouble whatever efforts you're doing for self-treatment. Even those of us who are very experienced and who know how important this is, I'm consciously allowing more time for it. Read all that media that I've done to stay in touch. We have a mailing, we'll be building a mailing list. We have a Facebook page. I'll share the link to I'll share those links. And then share your inspiration, whatever that means, whether it's your own Reiki practice or telling people about what we're doing. All right, so the next thing that we'll do will be the gift drawing and the Q&A. And then this is just my reminder that at the end of this, whoever's around will do about an 8 or 10 minute self-treatment at the end of the meeting. So save your questions up. Our next activity is going to be a gift drawing. And I'm going to stop sharing. See who we have left. All right, so we have 9 of us, 10 of us present, and 3 of us aren't eligible for the gift drawing. So, Kim, I'm going to just type in my list of, oh, well, wait a second, hang on. Find the best way to do this.
I have 7 names on the wheel. Is that correct?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is correct, Kim. So it's just you, me, and Michelle that aren't eligible. And so awesome, thank you. So we have 3 giveaways in, excuse me, I gotta find my way back to the, there I am, okay. I have so many windows open that I lose the Zoom already. So um, we have three gifts to give away, and uh, Michelle has offered, or three or four. What do you think, Kim? Do you want to do two or?
Yeah, let's do two.
All right. So Kim's going to do two, and Michelle's going to do one. So we have a total of four. So you have really good odds. So the
Oh, Phil is back. Is that correct?
yeah, was he there before? And
He's been in and out.
oh, okay. All right. So people have exactly a 1 in 2 chance of winning the gift. All right. So Kim, do you want to start with the? Kim is offering two uh, sessions with your choice of 3 or 4 different modalities, right? And I'm going to put that description in the chat. Where is it? Oops. Wrong document. There we go. Somebody mute Mary Jo.
Oh, am I? Oh, wait. Okay.
We can fix you. Don't worry. We can.
Okay. Can you?
Yeah, I got you. You're all set. Say hi to Jack. All right. So here's. So I'm going to put the description in here, but. Won't let me paste. Bear with me. Okay, we'll have to email the descriptions because it won't let me paste it into the chat, Kim. So it's Reiki, EFT, and one other for remote and all good stuff. So do you want to do your two first, and then we'll do Michelle's, and then we'll do the gift card?
Sure.
Okay, take it away, Kim.
Okay. So here's the wheel, and everyone's name is on it. Good luck. And first one is Phil John. All right. Let me go in and remove him from the next spin. And here we go. And Ginny, the second.
Congratulations, Ginny. So Phil and Ginny each get a session of their choice from Kim. And
All right.
Phil, it'll have to be remote. I believe he's in, I forget which state is in. He's in Indiana. All right. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So I'll send you his email after. Okay.
Okay.
Next is Michelle is offering a $200 gift certificate for her um, offerings at, I'm going to put her website in the chat.
I just added it, Jeffrey.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
I think the reason I couldn't do Kim's was it was too much text.
Oh, I just
All
typed
right.
mine up. But if you have something different, you can.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's right. That's what I had.
All right.
Spin the wheel. And congratulations,
John.
Terry. Michelle, I'll send you his email afterwards.
Or or you can just forward on that gift card. It does have the code on it already.
Or I can just forward him
The
okay.
PDF. Yep.
All right, I will do that. Now the final one is something that I'm going to do, and that's a $50, basically a cash Visa gift card that I'm going to mail to you physically, because I found out that the electronic ones typically don't only let you buy online. So I want you to have cash in your pocket. Plus, I can put our nice logo on it. So go ahead for the Visa. Yay, Martha! Glad you stayed till 3. Good for you. All right, I know where to send this. Give it a couple of days.
Congratulations, everyone.
All righty. Well, we're right on time, and as usual, I spent more time telling the backstory and less time talking about the vision, but I hope you all got the gist of it, and certainly we'll be able to share. Everybody will get the copy of the slides afterwards. So now for the next 20 minutes, we can do Q&A for anyone that wants to stick around, and then I can host a 10-minute self-trip. Oh, that reminds me, just before that, I want to put our Facebook page and the landing. So the landing page for self-treatment instruction, I just did a couple of videos. This is the only link that you can use to get to it. It's not, website visitors can't see it yet. And then here's our Facebook page. Let's see if there was anything else. Oh, anybody do Twitter? Here's the, that's the Twitter account as well. Don't do Instagram yet. I'll have to figure that out. All right, so I think the format we can do for Q&A, you can either feel free to use the chat, but also under reactions. Thank you, Martha. Thanks for stopping in. Have a good rest of your day. So under the reactions button, you can raise your hand, or if you turn your video on, you can physically raise it. And then when I call on you, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Or if you don't want to talk out loud, feel free to put a question in the chat. And then we'll just go till 2:20 or until nobody has any more questions. Then we'll do the finish up with a self-treatment. It's a warm Sunday afternoon. Yeah, I can tell. Take a moment. You know what? Maybe I'll play some music. I'm going to play, to fill the silence, I'm going to play a little bit of music for a little bit. And then we'll move into the, if I can find my music app. There it is. All right, so Hopefully that's not too loud. So this is the music I play every time I do a chair Reiki treatment. Always the same. And the whole piece is 7 minutes long. So two repetitions. Turn it down a little bit. How's that, Michelle? Better. Sorry. Yeah, you don't need that thundering. And usually I play it pretty low when I'm doing the chair sessions. Absolutely, you may email me. So often with these kinds of events, people are kind of, flooded with information. You don't think of your questions until afterwards. So email, Facebook page, whatever is for you. All right. Looks like we're going to be doing self-treatment. Get done early. Awesome. By the way, John, thank you for coming all the way from Sacramento, California. Only been there once, but I used to live in San Francisco. And I know there are a couple of your friends from out there, so thank you for joining us. All right. Enough of that. Pause that. All right, so like I said, the single most important thing for Reiki practitioners in this day and age is to really focus and redouble their efforts for self-treatment. And even if you're not a Reiki practitioner, you can benefit from just some basic hand placements, and you're welcome to follow along. When Pamela Miles does these, she gets tens of thousands of people from around the world, and thousands of those people, when she hosts a self-treatment session, thousands of those people are not Reiki practitioners. So she said to herself, well, what am I going to do? I can't expel them. So I just explained to them, what it means to learn how to do Reiki and to get the attunements and initiation, and then welcome them, because they will get a benefit from this. All right, so I'm just going to do the basic. You can follow along as you like. And I'm just going to do 1 minute per hand position. I'm going to use a little timer. And I'm going to start at the top of my head. Okay. As long as everybody's ready. And here we go. We'll start with the gong. How's that, Michelle? Was that loud? Okay. My next one is over my eyes. And if you're in a place without air conditioning, you can just hold your hands a little bit off your skin if it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes I'll just do fingertips. And then either ears or the back of your head. If your shoulders complain before time is up, you can just put your hands in a comfortable place. Now this one is fingertips on the side of your neck. Do not push on your throat. Just have the heels of my palms resting together. And hands to your chest. And hands to your solar plexus. I don't need to see my microphone. And hands on either side of your navel. And then finally, hands to your abdomen. Alrighty. So you see, every time I do it, so I'll do this without the timer most days, but it does make a difference when you tell yourself, all right, I'm gonna spend a minimum amount of time in each place. Kind of slows down that inner what's next feeling. I got the timer from Pamela Miles's website, and I'll probably share in the future on our Facebook page. But she has in the past done twice weekly self-treatment sessions, last about 40 minutes. And there's a Johannes Reindl in Austria who does several times a week, and he is the successor to Phyllis Furumoto. So he has quite a large following, and it's very nice. At the end, they say the Reiki principles in a bunch of different languages, so that's really lovely to hear. And I haven't been to either of these in a while, but I'm, again, follow my own advice, redouble my own efforts. And then there are some other folks doing online things more nearby. I think Elise Brenner has something going in Boston area. So all of these are options that, I'm going to take more advantage of. And I did see there was one question in the chat. Barbara, the start date is today. This is really what we call a kickoff. And all of those things that I showed in the slides with the bullet points are activities that I'm going to be pursuing, and then finding ways for more people to join in. There are kind of two general areas, and we've talked about this over the years, especially Mary Jo and I have discussed it. And that is there a way for what we're doing not to be geographically limited? And I think I'm starting to see a clearer way for that too. Part of our offerings can be trainings, just little video workshop trainings for how to do what we've been doing. And I didn't really touch on this. There was a couple of things in the slides. Ultimately, I would love to see this become an actual cooperative venture. Right now, it's an LLC in my name only. And so, but I don't want to still be doing this 10 years from now. I want to be able to like hop on a small motorcycle and go wandering across the continent. But so the next 5 years, I'll be focused on building something that can last beyond me and continue to bring benefit to the communities. So one specific idea is to have this be a regular get together with, you know, a status report of what's going on and then a share. And there have been different ideas floated around about that. So I was going to do a poll within this meeting, but it turned out to be too complicated. So when I follow up with an email to everybody, I'll give you the recording and the presentation slides. I'll include a solicitation or a question about, you know, how often would you like to get together? What days of the week are better? You know, online, in person. We have ideas for how to do a, you know, outdoor in-person get-together that we're working on. You know, the season's coming up. Fall is going to be nice, and outdoor locations are safer. Maybe when I bought a couple of new recliners, we can try them out in a park somewhere. So anyway, thank you all for coming. If any of my colleagues, present and former, would like to stick around and share afterwards, you're more than welcome to. And of course, anybody reach out to me anytime. And thank you for coming.